My name is Don Bird. I want to welcome you to my platform as we discuss building an emergency fund. Financial security, it's a word we use all the time, but what does it mean? Financial security begins with building an emergency fund. We are going to discover the ins and outs of creating and maintaining an emergency fund. This week, I'm going to cover how much to save in your emergency fund, where to keep your fund, and why it's crucial for weathering unexpected expenses. All right, stay tuned, stay prepared. It's Money Monday. We're talking about emergency funds. We're talking about saving for the future. I want you to tap in. I want you to stay engaged. And I want you to learn something, guys. We're all going to be learning together. Leave your comments down below. I am happy to discuss with you anything you want. DM me. I'll be in touch. We talked about financial security. We talked about emergency funds. Let's talk about how much to save in your emergency fund. It's a personal question. It's going to be different for everybody. But what I want you to know is some baseline parameters or a framework that you can build within. I believe studies have shown about 3 months. If you want to be super conservative, about 6 months of cash on hand that you can keep readily available to weather unexpected expenses in your life. Now, the more assets and the more financial responsibility that you have, I would recommend keeping 6 months, at least 6 months of emergency funds available for your use at any time that is not earmarked for anything else except sitting there in your fund. Now, where should you keep your fund? Should you keep it in your closet, under your bed, somewhere hidden in your house? Well, listen, guys, those are all options, and some people do that. But what I would say is put your emergency fund in a bank account that has a nice high yield, but still readily available for withdrawal and use. Okay, so you can go to an investment company and put it in a money market fund. You can go to a bank and put it in a bank account or savings account or a longer duration account that you can access at any time. Now, why is it crucial? Why is it crucial for weathering unexpected expenses, and why is it crucial that it is readily available? Well, first, let's talk about why it's crucial that you keep this fund readily available. First of all, we have to understand what the emergency fund is for. It is for weathering unexpected expenses. So these are going to be expenses that you don't expect to come in, but they come in and you have to handle them within, say, a 5-day or 3-day period. You don't have time to go and, raise capital or wait for stocks to settle and trade or borrow money from a bank or another source. You need this money right away. So what I would say is keep this money readily available, readily accessible, and you will be better off for it. Let's talk about why it's crucial, though, for weathering unexpected expenses. So crucial because this is separate and distinct. Your emergency fund is separate and distinct from your investments, from your other savings, from your spending, your checking account, your bill pay. Your emergency fund is literally like a blanket in your car, or think of the things you keep in your car that are for your roadside assistance, whether it's jumper cables or a jack. You don't use your jack every day. Some people probably haven't even located their jack, but guess what? In the event that you do need it, it will be there. And that's how you should treat your emergency fund. All right. Stay tuned. Stay prepared, guys. Investment basics, saving for the future. We are going to be talking about a lot of different topics. I want you to tap in. I want you to get involved. I want you to get engaged. DM me, leave in the comments down below. I'm happy to have this discussion with you guys. I'm looking forward to connecting with you. All right. Stay tuned. Take care. All right, guys. Welcome back to another video. This week, we're diving into the importance of building an emergency fund. An emergency fund is your financial safety net for unexpected expenses. Expected expenses should be budgeted for and paid for from your checking account. But let's talk about why you need an emergency fund and how to get started, all right? Your peace of mind is more important than something that you can buy this weekend, all right? And your peace of mind will be enhanced by having cash on hand to meet and weather expenses that you did not expect to happen. And you should be able to do this within, 2 to 5 days. That's what an emergency fund is for. And I think if you use it properly, you will always have a financial safety net that is something that makes you secure and gives you the peace of mind to keep going. Join me for a broader discussion on these things. I cannot wait to discuss these with you, and I look forward to connecting. All right, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to Money Monday. Welcome to my channel. We're talking about saving for the future. And this week, we're diving into the importance of building an emergency fund. An emergency fund is your financial safety net for unexpected expenses. And this week, we're going to be talking about why you need one and how to get started. Your peace of mind is right here on the horizon, right here within reach, and you deserve it. Your family deserves it, and you can accomplish this. I'm telling you, I want you to start thinking about how you should build an emergency fund. Stay tuned. I'm going to give you some tips. All right, this week we're diving into the importance of building an emergency fund, guys. Now, what is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is your financial safety net for unexpected expenses. Now, let's talk about why you need one and how you get started. Why do you think you need an emergency fund? Well, emergencies happen that cause a financial need that you have to satisfy. And if it's outside of your budget and it's not a pay week, then you might not have the money to meet something very important that you can take care of with your emergency fund. And if you don't have your emergency fund, then you won't be able to meet that need, which will probably cause more expenses. It's actually cheaper to maintain an emergency fund. It keeps you from incurring excessive fees, interest, other costs that will happen if you don't take care of something. Let's say your ceiling is leaking and you don't have the money to fix it. Well, eventually your ceiling is going to fall down. It's going to cost a lot more to get that entire ceiling fixed than it would have cost to fix the leak, right? Or your car, your brakes are failing. Well, go get those brakes fixed. But guess what? If you don't get those brakes fixed, then your rotors are going to go bad and you're going to need new rotors in addition to new brakes. So the emergency fund is important because you need one to help you defray the cost of life in general. It's very expensive to live life. And it's even more expensive when you don't have the financial wherewithal, the financial resources to meet life head on. In fact, the lack of an emergency fund probably shows you where you haven't planned properly, because if you have assets and expenses that require attention and maintenance, then you should be already planning for brakes on your car. That should not be what we call an emergency. All right. So stay tuned, guys. We're going to be talking about a lot more, and we're going to be talking about how to get started with your emergency fund, which is so important. What it takes to get started with your emergency fund, guys, is a little bit of discipline and a little bit of self-care for your future self. And what I'm talking about is so small that you can definitely do this, but you have to get focused, guys. You have to get focused on saving just a little bit of money each time you get paid. And once you're able to do that, you're going to be able to start to see some progress, right? And if you don't have any emergency expenses that come up in the time that you're building the fund, then it will work. You will not need to put a large amount of money in the fund. You just need to put, let's say you put $10 to $20 per week in your emergency fund. Set it, forget it. So how do you do this? You set up another bank account at another institution, let's say. I like the other institution because that way you don't see it. You're not thinking about, oh man, I got $600 extra. I should go out to eat tonight. Or I got $1,000 extra. I should buy a bag. That's not an emergency fund. That's a savings account. Set up another account at another institution. Okay. If you work with Wells Fargo, go to Citizens, go to Capital One, go to PNC, go to wherever you like to go. Okay. Set up an automatic distribution or automatic payment to that account and just set it to $20 a week. What's that? $80 a month, $960 per year. Okay? You'll have $1,000 by the end of the year that you don't have to think about. You have an unexpected expense of $250, you go get that money and then you replenish it. Stay tuned, guys. We're talking about finances, we're talking about investments, we're talking about your money. I want to help you understand it, all right? Stay tuned. I'll be back in touch with more videos. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Don Bird, and this week we are talking about why you need an emergency fund. Why is an emergency fund a financial must-have? Well, today we're going to be breaking down the why of it all. From unexpected car repairs to medical bills, life's curveballs can't catch you off guard when you're prepared. All right, share your thoughts down below on the importance of an emergency fund, and I am going to be talking to you, starting this conversation about why you need one, how to build one, and how you get there, all right? DM me if you want to talk more personally. Tap into the comments. I cannot wait to have this discussion with you guys. You know, why is an emergency fund a financial must-have? All right, why? Unexpected car repairs, guys. What about your engine? What about tires? Tires are a nice way to think about your car expenses, right? If you blow out a tire, you weren't expecting to do that, all right? And a tire can be very expensive on a nice car, okay? At least $250, $300 to buy the tire and put it on. That's a fair amount of money that can disrupt your financial flow if it happens, okay? Now, you should certainly be preparing for tires. If you need tires on your car, you know you need tires on your car. But a one tire deal, you know, it could cause a ripple in your financial outlook for the next week or month or so, whatever that looks like for you. But you can handle that with your emergency fund, right? A medical bill or think about it this way. What if your refrigerator went like ours did this summer? All right? A refrigerator can run you anywhere between $1,500 and $10,000, depending on what you want and where you live and how big the space is and what you need. An emergency fund can help you cover that expense, especially when your refrigerator goes unbeknownst to you. So think about that. I want you to share your thoughts below on why you need an emergency fund, when you have used your emergency fund, or when you would have wished you'd had an emergency fund in the past. So leave in the comments below. I want to start a discussion. I want you to jump in here. Tap in, guys. DM me if you want to talk more personally about financial security, financial literacy, saving for the future, or investment basics, anything of that nature. I'm happy to discuss with you, but I can't wait to jump into these comments. All right, guys, stay tuned. We're talking this week about emergency funds. I can't wait to get into this discussion, guys. Join me. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Don Bird. I'm your host, your friend, your mentor, your coach. And this week we are talking about emergency funds and why you need one. Today we're going to be discussing saving strategies for your emergency fund. Now, let's say you are convinced that an emergency fund is essential to your financial life, to your family. How do you go about starting saving for one? Well, we got you covered here today. Today, we will be exploring effective saving strategies and tips to ensure your fund grows steadily. All right. Are you ready to take the first step to financial security? So now you are sold. You think that you know that an emergency fund is essential for your financial foundation, for your financial security, but you're not sure on how to start saving for one. Well, I got you covered. Listen, guys. We have to think about saving as a muscle, a habit that we get into, guys. If you've never saved anything before, this is not going to be an easy task for you. You're going to get disillusioned. You're going to get complacent. You're going to get impatient with the process of building an emergency fund from scratch. Let's say you open a bank account, okay? And they make you put, let's say, $100 in there. All right, so you put your $100 in there. Now, let's say you want to put 3 months of savings into that fund. You make $100,000 a year. 3 months of that savings is 25% of that dollar amount, which is about $25,000. Now, $25,000 is a lot of money. So don't think that you need much more than that inside of your emergency fund. 25K is plenty, especially if you look at your after-tax income from that 100,000. That's what we need to be focused on. 25,000 is 3 months of 100,000 gross, but 100,000 net, you may be paying, let's say you pay $20,000 in tax. Well, it's down to 80,000 and you only need 25% of that. So when you think about what 25% of 80 is, it's down to 20,000. 20,000 is still a nice amount of money, fair amount of money, but you also have to consider you need an emergency fund to cover, let's say, a job loss. Now, I would say, in my professional opinion, that covering a job loss is a one-off expense. You're going to need to be very well healed to sustain a job loss for any long period of time. So you need to get focused on finding a job right away if you've lost your job. But other than a job loss, I think $20,000, if you make $100,000, is plenty in your emergency fund. Now, how do you build up to that, though? How do you build up to $20,000 in your emergency fund? It's not easy because you got to save a lot of money, right? You have to save a lot of money to get to $20,000, especially if you're doing it in small portions. Well, it depends on how much you make. If you make $100,000 a year, you're probably making about $8,000 a month, which after taxes probably comes out to, say, $5,000 or $6,000 a month. You need to consider saving $200 to $500 per month in your savings, in your emergency fund. All right. Now, these videos sometimes get hard to make because the real truth of it is that that's why no one does it. No one saves or builds an emergency fund because they don't want to part with this precious money at this time that they don't need to perhaps save. But you do. You have to think about your life holistically. You have to think about your financial situation in a broader context than just what you want and what you have today. So start thinking about it. DM me, tap in, guys. I want to talk about your financial life holistically. I want to help you build your emergency fund and help you understand why it's important to stay the course, build your fund, get involved, tap in today. $250 a month, okay? $250 times 12. It comes out to be about what, $3,000. You're nowhere near 20,000, but you're at 3. Now, what if you don't need the money this year? Well, that's good. That's a good thing. You didn't have an emergency. That means you're a good planner, right? You take appropriate levels of risk, etc. 3,000. Next year you got 6. And then the following year you keep building on that fund until it's set. And then you can use it for so many different things. I'll get into that in the next video, guys. All right, stay tuned. I want to see you in the place. Tap in, hit that like button, comment down below on your experiences with emergency funds, with emergency needs, with financial security, financial literacy. I want to help you guys. Tap in, join me in this discussion. All right, guys, it is time for our weekly challenge. Welcome to the channel, guys. Welcome to the show. My name is Don Bird, and I want to challenge you. We have been talking about emergency funds all week, so now it's time to put our knowledge into action. All right? Your challenge this week, your emergency fund challenge is to set up a dedicated savings account for your emergency fund. Now, it might sound simple, but if you haven't done it, well, then it's not as simple as it looks, right? Let's work on that. Share your savings goal. Share your plan in the comments below, guys. Let's embark on this journey together. Your future self will thank you, guys. Listen, I want to be a part of your journey. Let's take this challenge seriously. Let's open up a dedicated savings account for your emergency fund. And after that, we'll talk about the next steps, but I'll give you a quick sneak peek. The next step is to set up an automatic deposit in that fund that you don't think about. Something that is not going to bust your budget wide open. Something that is easy, something small, something that you can weather. All right, that's the challenge for this week. I'm excited, guys. Join in, get in touch, get involved, tap in, DM me, like the video, comment down below. I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of details about how you can get started building your own financial security. And it starts with an emergency fund, because you really can't get into all of the other financial strategies without having some level of a foundation and a cushion, so that when things happen, you don't have to now blow up your whole plan. Your emergency fund is there for you. All right, stay tuned, tap in. I'll see you in the next video.